Now that we've created a graph, you'll notice that it doesn't necessarily adhere to conventions. For instance, this axis is not labeled, and there's no title. We're going to walk through how to actually put in that information. And so we're going to be playing around in the Edit Chart feature. So the Edit Chart feature is right over here. And to select it, I'm just going to press the button. And it pops up this menu on the right. This menu has two major panels. There's Data and there's Customize. If we decide we didn't want a scatter chart, we could come back in and we could change it. But we're actually not going to be working in the data portion of this. We're going to be working in the Customize portion. You'll notice when I select it that there are now a number of menus, and they pertain to different aspects of the chart. So for instance, if I wanted to change the chart style and maximize it, I could do that. And you'll see it makes the graph take up the whole pane. But we're not doing that. Instead, we're going to go to Chart Axis Titles. And we need to first name it. So we're going to write in a name for it that makes sense. This is annual precipitation data for central Wisconsin. So that's what I've titled it. Now my axes still don't have titles, and you'll notice that this menu says chart and axis titles. To see the axis titles, you have to select type, and then you can go to horizontal axis title. I want to title this horizontal axis. This is in years. You'll notice that it auto updates pretty quickly. I then want to type in my vertical axis title. This is annual precipitation in inches. I've done that. I'm done working in the chart and axis titles for now. Now I'm going to go here to my series, and I'm going to do something called adding a trend line. When you add a trend line, it gives you a moving average of all of this data. And so, for instance, this line is an average of this point and this point. But it's also an average of this point and this point and this point. And so it's what's called a moving average. And the trend line is the best fit. If given the constraint of creating only one line, it's the best fit. Now you can change its color by selecting down here. You can also change what kind of line. So if you wanted to make a curvy line, you could use something that's polynomial, or if you wanted something to be exponential, here you go. We're just going to use a linear fit. Once we've done that, you'll notice that this line is here, and I'm curious how good this line is. So I'm going to select this show R squared. This is a statistical test that we're not going to go into detail in terms of understanding, but you should know that the closer this number gets to 1, the better the fit, and the smaller this number gets, the worse the fit. Meaning, if these, we'll go over this in class, but if all the points were right along this line, you would have an R squared value of 1. This doesn't. Next, we're going to move our legend. We're going to move it to the top because then our graph takes up more space. And that's a good feature. That's a good thing because then you can see the data a little bit better. If you want to add, if you wanted to play around with that axes, like changing their order, you can do that here. You can also add more grid lines if you wanted to. So the grid lines that are missing are the minor ones. We could add those if we wanted to. And you would just pick a number that you wanted to add and you'll see it adds them. I don't think we need it, so I'm going to select none. Once I'm done customizing, I'll do this. And then I am done editing my chart.